Cleveland's Brown owner just recently came out and opened up and disclosed that he didn't want Shedeur Sanders. He didn't have nothing to do with the decision. It was the general manager's call and respected the call. Now, here's my
Shedeur Sanders is going to end up getting traded. He will not be with the Cleveland Browns for long. You can bank on that now. I'm telling you, Shedeur Sanders is going to get traded.
All right, let's paint the scene. The Dallas Cowboys billionaire boss, Jerry Jones, is figuratively riding in like a Wild West sheriff, his 10-gallon hat tilted just so, poised to snatch Shedeur Sanders from the swirling vortex of chaos known as the Cleveland Browns. Yes, that's the very same team where the careers of promising quarterbacks go to disappear faster than my entire paycheck at Target. Could the legendary Jerry Jones actually be plotting the single biggest and most audacious rescue mission in the annals of NFL history? Or is this just another one of his infamous larger-than-life, cowboy-sized fantasies? You'd better buckle up, because this entire saga is officially about to get absolutely hilarious.
So now it sounds like the Cleveland Browns are going to all but imprison Shedeur Sanders in the football sense of a very talented rookie quarterback who obviously needs reps, he needs an opportunity, and who now, barring some miraculous luck, will not get the opportunity to play in a single real game. I'm sure many around the NFL are celebrating as we speak. They are chuckling about this. Many in the NFL wanted to teach Shedeur and his daddy a lesson, and it just makes me want to puke.
You can officially forget your prestige primetime dramas, because the NFL is now scripting storylines more explosive than anything on HBO. The word on the street is flying with more velocity than a telegraphed Dak Prescott interception, that the Cowboys owner, the legendary showman who treats the entire sport like his personal billion-dollar rodeo, has now locked his predatory gaze on Shedeur Sanders.
Browns is the Browns. This is the most hype they've ever had. Like, it's the Browns.
Exactly.
So he got drafted to the wrong team. That Sanders name, I'm telling you right now, there's only one person that understands business, and he will trade his quarterback for Sanders. Dallas is where Sanders is going to be.
Wow.
Because that name on the back of that jersey is legacy, and he's going to want that to ring bells around the globe. Jerry is going to have him.
This isn't just a casual glance from the owner's box. This is the full-blown orchestration of a clandestine undercover mission to swoop him out of Cleveland like he's rescuing a quarterback prisoner of war. And let's be brutally honest, Cleveland might just be the most depressing football witness protection program in the league's entire history. It is a black hole where promising talent is taken in, thrown into an industrial-grade blender of dysfunction, and somehow, by the time they re-emerge on the other side, they have been reduced to nothing more than a soul-crushing cautionary tale for future draft classes.
I was the Dallas Cowboys. I don't care about Dak's new contract. I would go get Deion Sanders. I would pick Shedeur Sanders. If I had to give up Micah Parsons and 3 firsts, I would do it. You do not get out of bankruptcy putting $13 a month into your 401k. You get out of it with big swings. You start looking at the draft order. You look at Dallas's schedule. The only team they play the rest of the year that's got nothing to play for is the Giants. They got a shot to get the number 1 pick. They got a real shot. Yes, Dak will be upset if you draft Shedeur Sanders. So what?
Shedeur walks into Cleveland radiating swagger, armed with elite skills, and possessing undeniable star power. And what is his reward for bringing this potential franchise-altering talent to the city? A premium front-row seat to a masterclass in mediocrity, served with a complimentary side of wasted, soul-crushing minutes. The Cleveland Browns treat their quarterbacks with the same dismissive disdain that a picky child treats their vegetables. They poke at them, they move them around the plate, but they never ever actually utilize them. The fan base is now starting to recognize a much darker and more sinister truth. Shedeur Sanders isn't just being passively overlooked in this dysfunctional system. He is being actively and deliberately buried.
I cannot tell you how badly I wanted you to coach my Dallas Cowboys, because I believe with all my heart and soul you would soon have turned them back into a legitimate contender. How close did that come to happening? How much did you believe that Jerry did have interest in you?
He did, and he still does. Jerry's a dear friend. I love him to life. It was interesting. I didn't really think about it that much, but after we conversated, I said, wow, like this has a possibility. Would I do it? And the only way I would have done it, Skip, to be honest with you, is I knew guaranteed I had an opportunity to coach my sons.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if there's one thing NFL fans do with unparalleled genius, it's transforming raw outrage into a full-blown organized movement. One week they're furiously debating chicken wing flavors on Twitter. The next they're running a surprisingly effective grassroots campaign to free Shedeur. Suddenly, stadium chants sound less like cheers for touchdowns and more like coded, desperate cries for someone to please get this guy out of Cleveland before his prime years are unceremoniously flushed down the drain. Enter the Cowboys owner, who, let's face it, thrives on chaos and headlines as if they were pure oxygen. If you thought for 1 second this man was just going to sit back while Cleveland fumbles away a quarterback possessing both Hollywood charisma and game day firepower, then you don't know him at all. He sees Shedeur, he sees the undeniable star factor, and his billionaire brain is screaming just one thing: that's a Cowboy. Forget scouting reports. Forget the logistics. This is the same man who would probably sign a quarterback simply because his name sounds good under the stadium lights. And Shedeur Sanders? That name sounds like it was practically destined to be embroidered on a jersey that completely sells out across the state of Texas within 24 hours. Other NFL owners are quietly shifting in their seats, too, because no one likes to admit it out loud. But everyone in this league knows when a player is being criminally mishandled. It's the professional sports equivalent of being at a family barbecue and watching someone douse a perfectly cooked steak in ketchup. Sure, you don't want to be rude and say anything, but deep down, you're screaming, this is a crime. Shedeur Sanders sitting on wasted minutes in Cleveland isn't just a bad football decision. It is organizational malpractice.
You think Deion is going to be the third father to son to get drafted in the first round?
I mean, that's a no-brainer, man. Come on, like to say is Shedeur not going to be a first-round talent and a first-round pick? I think he's going to be top 5. He might be number 1 overall taken player in the 2025 draft. That's a bold statement. Go on Clips, go on to mark it up, however you want to say it. D-Jack said it here live on 2510. He might be the first player taken in the 2025 draft. But that's a no-brainer, man. Yeah, he's
So, whoa. See, now I think Shedeur is the best quarterback in college football, hands down.
So that's the number
right?
1 pick, yeah.
But
Travis Hunter.
He should not be the first pick overall.
Who? Shedeur?
Yes.
I mean, do you know who might be?
Don't matter.
Might be the right.
The guy clearly possesses all the requisite tools: elite arm strength, next-level vision, and the uncanny ability to stay cool while the pocket around him collapses like a cheap, poorly assembled tent. And instead of unleashing that formidable arsenal, the Browns are running offensive plays that look like they were drawn up by someone half asleep after a long night of binge-watching old cooking shows. The Cowboys owner sees this kind of opportunity the same way a great white shark smells blood in the water. If Shedeur's immense talent is being so flagrantly ignored in Cleveland, then why not swoop in and grab him before some other savvier team finally wakes up and realizes what's happening? It is the NFL equivalent of buying pristine prime beachfront property at yard sale prices. The whispers circulating through the league suggest he is looking to orchestrate this entire heist on the down low, as if this were a script for the next Mission Impossible movie. We're talking behind-the-scenes phone calls, clandestine late-night strategy meetings, and possibly even a trench coat and sunglasses situation. Because if word gets out too soon, the Cleveland Browns will cling to Shedeur Sanders out of pure, unadulterated spite. Not because they're suddenly using him properly, but because nothing screams Browns football more than hoarding elite talent that they have absolutely no idea how to actually maximize.
What do you think of the Cleveland Browns QB situation?
Oh, it's horrible. It's absolutely terrible situation for a quarterback to be in. Let's get real, people, here. All right? This is the thing that nobody wants to talk about. Shedeur Sanders is in a situation where the NFL and the Cleveland Browns have set him up to sink or swim in year one. What I really mean by that is they set him up to fail. Shedeur Sanders is the 4th quarterback on the Cleveland Browns roster, but let me talk to you about the other guys that they have on the roster. Joe Flacco, the de facto starter that everyone with a football brain believes will be their starting quarterback, barring injury, is a Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP.
Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders himself is probably just sitting back, watching this unfold and thinking to himself, so let me get this straight. I've got the billionaire owner of the Dallas Cowboys basically ready to airlift me out of here, and the Cleveland Browns can't even figure out how to get me consistent snaps? It is the professional equivalent of being stuck working the drive-thru at a fast food joint while Michelin-starred chefs are literally begging you to come join them for dinner. The contrast is as painful as it is stark. One team clearly sees him as a generational, franchise-altering talent. The other seems to see him as, what, a well-dressed bench warmer with a cool last name? It would be almost comedic if it wasn't so profoundly tragic. The fans are now completely split into two warring camps, the ones who want Shedeur freed yesterday, and the ones who are just delusional enough to believe Cleveland will eventually figure this out. Spoiler alert, Cleveland doesn't figure things out. And the Cowboys? Oh, they absolutely live for this kind of drama. They are not just America's team, they are America's headline-generating machine, and adding Shedeur to that mix would be far less about simple depth charts and infinitely more about pure, unadulterated spectacle.
And like, how different is a defense in, say, the first or second preseason game, say, to the first or second regular season game? What kind of different looks will they give you as a quarterback?
Great question.
Yeah. So, like, going into these games, you guys obviously experienced it, and then hear a lot of people talk about how he handles it, how he operates. The pre-snap communication, post-snap execution. Does he look like he's seeing everything clearly? And like that is said because it matters. And that was one of the things that stood out was just how comfortable he looked in and out of the huddle. There's multiple times where he's sticking his hand up at the line of scrimmage, talking to his receivers like, hey, you're good. Don't worry about any blitzes or protection.
This isn't just football anymore. It is pure, unadulterated entertainment, and nobody in the world understands that fundamental truth better than the man who treats Atan Stadium like it's his personal Broadway stage. He knows Shedeur isn't just a quarterback. He is a blockbuster storyline just waiting to completely dominate every sports show for weeks on end. So now the entire league is buzzing. Rival owners are nervously eyeing their own rosters. Fans are generating memes at lightning speed, and the Cleveland Browns are pathetically pretending like they are in control of the situation when in reality they are holding on to a ticking time bomb, because the second Shedeur Sanders realizes that the Cowboys or any other team with a shred of vision are serious about giving him the massive platform he so clearly deserves, there is absolutely no going back. You simply don't put a pristine Ferrari in a dusty garage and keep driving the rusty minivan. Every single twist in this saga just keeps adding more explosive layers. The NFL absolutely thrives on this kind of drama, and this might just be the juiciest one currently brewing, because beneath all the backroom strategy and manufactured secrecy, one core truth remains impossible to deny: Shedeur Sanders deserves infinitely better than what Cleveland is giving him, and the clock is ticking. Shedeur is that guy, the one every other team desperately wishes they had, but publicly pretends they don't actually need.
Nothing in sports has ever angered me more than what the NFL has done to Shedeur Sanders. The Browns showed you their hand by taking Dillon Gabriel 50 slots higher than they wound up taking Shedeur. The head coach, Kevin Stefanski, did not want Shedeur Sanders. The GM, Andrew Berry, clearly did not want Shedeur Sanders, but quarterback injuries conspired against the Browns to start with. They were forced, of course, to give Shedeur a shot in the first preseason game only because of all that spate of injury.
He is the one that opposing defenses spend the entire week meticulously preparing for, only to end up looking like a field of confused orange traffic cones the second he actually takes the field. The hype that surrounds Shedeur isn't just smoke and mirrors, it is pure gasoline poured directly onto a fire that is already burning down the old, outdated way people look at young quarterbacks. And the wildest part of this whole phenomenon, it's not just the fans who are screaming this anymore. Coaches, owners, and top-level analysts, they are all whispering it now, as if they've collectively stumbled upon some top-secret game-changing recipe. See, with most young quarterbacks, the conversation is always predictably the same. Give him time, he'll learn, he's developing. But with Shedeur Sanders, absolutely nobody wants to wait. The poise, the precision, the unmistakable flair. He makes it all look so impossibly natural that you start to wonder if he secretly downloaded his elite quarterbacking skills from some futuristic app. What makes it even more hilarious is reflecting on how many people tried to casually brush him off at first. He's just hype, they confidently said. He's only popular because of his name. Fast forward a few games, and those very same doubters are now sitting there in stunned, awkward silence, nervously sipping their sodas while they watch him thread passes through defenders with the casual ease of a man playing a game of darts at a local pub. The tired, lazy excuses simply do not work anymore.
That it tells me like he's understanding what he's looking at. That matters, a big deal. I think the thing that like one of the things that I took away was he was pretty aggressive with the football. That tells me like confidence, that again, he's seeing how rotation happens. Now, he saw a lot of, backside safety drop down man coverage. So that you're not going to see, like you'll see that in the league, obviously a ton. He didn't see a ton of pressures. He didn't see a ton of blitzes. Some of the stuff that some other quarterbacks saw, like Seattle was throwing Star Wars stuff at Geno Smith. So, he didn't see that.
You cannot dismiss it as simple luck when a player is doing it over and over again, week after grueling week, and often in high-pressure situations where other quarterbacks are panicking like they've just lost their car keys. The NFL is a league that is simply not built to let someone sneak up on you. The very second you show even the slightest flashes of greatness, everyone is immediately on your case. Defenses relentlessly adjust. Commentators begin to nitpick every single throw. Fans start to overanalyze your every move. And yet Shedeur Sanders keeps moving through it all as if none of that external noise even matters. That is the fundamental difference between just another quarterback and the next big thing. He doesn't just survive the pressure, he actively thrives in it. When the pocket collapses, most quarterbacks start praying. Shedeur starts calculating. When the blitz comes screaming in, he doesn't flinch. He instantly adjusts, as if he's rewiring the entire play in real time. That isn't rookie stuff. That is the very stuff that legends are made of. You can practically hear the shifting chatter from front offices around the entire NFL, as owners who once laughed at the hype now start to wonder if maybe they should have planned their franchise's future around this kid instead of desperately clinging to their overpaid, underperforming placeholders.
Given what Shedeur went through and what you went through, watching tonight, does it make it almost more meaningful than just a football game?
I'm not going to say meaningful. We've already spoken like 3 times a day. We just got off the phone joking and clowning like crazy. But he's so prepared right now. A lot of people are approaching it like a preseason game. He's approaching like a game. And that's how he's always approached everything, to prepare and to approach it like this is it. I just can't wait to see him get down tonight. But it's going to be a little weird. It's going to be a little strange. It's going to be a problem after tonight, though. I promise you that.
Shedeur Sanders is that rare breed of player who forces entire franchises to reimagine what they could possibly be. He isn't just a quarterback. He is a walking, breathing, culture-shifting event. Look at how the players around him instinctively respond. Teammates suddenly appear sharper, hungrier, and more locked in because playing alongside Shedeur feels like being part of something that truly matters. He doesn't just elevate his own play, he drags everyone else up to his level as if mediocrity is simply not an option in his presence. And that is the kind of intangible, magnetic leadership that you can't buy with lucrative contracts or manufacture with slick hype videos. It's no wonder the whispers are escalating into a full-throated roar. This is no longer just fans making noise on social media. Owners are now tuning in with a new level of intensity. Analysts are frantically recalculating their premature hot takes, and even established veteran quarterbacks are sneaking glances, realizing with a dawning sense of dread that this kid is going to be their problem much sooner rather than later. The NFL landscape shifts at lightning speed, but Shedeur might just be moving faster. Let's be clear, Shedeur Sanders didn't just walk into this league. He arrived with every conceivable tool already in the box. Pinpoint accuracy, unshakable composure, innate leadership, and that effortless, almost infuriating ability to make the most complex game in the world look like second nature. The genuine surprise isn't that he is this good, it is the staggering fact that anyone ever thought he wouldn't be. That's on them, not him. If anything, he is a living, breathing indictment of just how little the so-called experts truly know when it comes to identifying legitimate generational talent.
Here's what I think is going to happen to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to be a middle-of-the-road team this year. I think it's going to be done on purpose.
Yes.
They're going to fire their coach. They're going to let Dak go. They're going to then draft Shedeur Sanders.
And Dallas seems to be a place that can check all the boxes for Shedeur realistically, instead of Cleveland. So we're gonna see. So I think the Dallas Cowboys could be his next stop.
This seismic shift is happening in real time. What began as mere excitement from a dedicated following of college football fans has now evolved into a full-blown NFL awakening. Every single week, more and more people are jumping on the train, and soon it won't just be the fans shouting, "Shedeur is that guy." It will be the entire league acknowledging it, begrudgingly at first, then inevitably with full unreserved acceptance. Because greatness can only be ignored for so long before it becomes utterly, undeniably impossible to deny. And here is the truly terrifying kicker. Shedeur Sanders isn't even close to hitting his ceiling yet. That is precisely what makes the hype surrounding him so fundamentally different. Most young quarterbacks have flashes. You see a brilliant throw here, a well-executed drive there, and you cross your fingers, desperately hoping they can eventually string it all together. With Shedeur, the flashes aren't flashes, they are his baseline. And that is the exact moment you stop talking about a player as the next thing and start talking about them as the thing. So the NFL can continue to pretend this is just another chapter in the usual predictable quarterback carousel. But the reality is, Shedeur Sanders isn't just in the conversation anymore. He is actively and forcefully rewriting it. From the desolate Cleveland sidelines, to the swirling Cowboys rumors, to the hushed urgent whispers echoing across every single franchise boardroom, the message is now loud and unequivocally clear. Shedeur is that guy. Not tomorrow, not in some distant hypothetical future, right now. And whether the fans, the coaches, or the owners are ready to fully admit it yet, the truth is already out there, and it is only getting louder.